I am Books Nelson with the At Me Bro Show, and we are going to be getting into a deep dive on Michael Ray Richardson. So first, let's make sure he's on the squad, which I almost forgot to do. That would have been embarrassing. He is not on the squad. So let's sit my boy John Wall down for a second. If you guys haven't checked out my John Wall deep dive, go ahead and take a look at that. I think it could help you all out comparing him to Westbrook and Dwayne Wade, who I think John Wall is much more of a budget Dwayne Wade than he is a Westbrook replacement. There are certain things that if you like them about Westbrook, you're gonna miss them in John, and there are certain things that if you like about John, you would miss in Westbrook. But I think John's an overall excellent card, and probably, I wouldn't even say probably, most likely a top 10 point guard in the game, at least in that area for sure. Alrighty, so let's get Michael in the game. So the thing about Michael Ray Richardson that we love already is that he's 6'5", which is fantastic. And you see he actually has a pretty long wingspan. You can see those arms. We'll do the body test, which are kind of a new addition to how we're looking at this stuff. So we go into Insta Replay, and we can really look at his dimensions and really see, you know, that body type. Let his shot play out a little bit more. There we go. So you can really see he's a very rangy character. He's got a good size on him at the point guard position. So the question being, see his hot zones? Nothing to write home about. These are actually really rough hot zones. The good news is he doesn't need them because his shot is fantastic. This guy has a gigantic green window. You see, I mean, literally, I'm gonna miss my first green because I was gonna bring it up, but literally greened every shot, except for the one where I was gonna talk about it. So he doesn't even need hot zones because his shot is just, the green window feels enormous. Like it really feels like it's a jump shot for dummies, as we like to say on this channel. Okay, so with coaching boost, he has a 93 mid-range shot and an 87 three-point shot. He does not have range extender, so let's get that out of the way right now. This is not a range extender card. So what does he bring into the table instead? Well, he does have an 85 dunk, so he's going to get contact dunks. Great draw foul, great ball handle, decent pass accuracy for a point guard. Could be better. I mean, it's not a low rating by any means. What we're really looking for is, can he defend on the interior? That's the thing that would justify this card. So the closest comparison for this card is Walt Frazier. Clyde is still a fantastic defender in this game. He's still, I mean, now that Giannis is in it, Clyde is probably the fourth best defender. I would say maybe Ben Simmons, you know, Giannis, you throw LeBron in there, and then you have Clyde. And, you know, I know Chauncey's very good. Michael Ray Richardson is looking to break into that group. So what really separates the men from the boys is the interior defense. So you see here, he has a 71 interior defense, which is good. Let's see, does he have... so he has a 78 block, which is respectable for a point guard. The strength, 85 strength. That's what we're talking about right there. This is what determines if you throw this card in your lineup. The way I look at it is the same way some people have Ben Simmons, the one of the two Ben Simmons cards. Neither of them is particularly great at shooting. One can shoot, one can't shoot at all. You have it in the lineup to say, okay, if you try to bully me, I'm going to bring in this card to counter you. That's the role that Michael Ray Richardson is basically auditioning for. And with an 85 strength, what we really need now is those interior badges. Look, a fantastic card like LeBron and Giannis is not going to be stopped outright, but it's really, do you get bullied? That's what you're really looking for. So does he have any interior defensive badges to help him with the strength issue? So let's see. So he does have Hall of Fame Intimidator, which is excellent. He has Hall of Fame Defensive Leader, obviously Hall of Fame Clamps. That's a given. He's got Pick Dodger, Tireless Defender, Pogo Stick. Okay, so he doesn't have any interior defensive badges. So what I'm going to do real quick, we're going to pop out a freestyle because I do think this is the most important thing about the card. And spoiler alert, this card does not have the best animations in the world. So the real reason you would pick him over a Ben Simmons is because Ben's pretty cheap now. Right? Ben's pretty, I mean, he's not as cheap as Michael Ray Richardson. This card, I bought him for $6K. He's probably like $3K right now, something. is because this card can really shoot. Right? He doesn't have range extender, but inside of range extender, he can really, really shoot. You can rely on this card to consistently hit shots with that wonderful release. So I'm going to look for Walt Frazier. And I need to see his interior badges, and because this is the comparison that we have to make, right? So Walt still looks like he's holding decently strong. So Walt is an inch shorter. Now what I've found is that Walt held his own no matter who was trying to back him down. So what I'm trying to find out is, was that a result of the strength, or did he have a badge helping him out? That's the really important thing. Because this card held his own so much in the post that I legitimately lost 30K holding onto this card because I just needed him in my lineup. Before I got LeBron, I'm like, okay, I just need, if, you know, without LeBron James, he was the guy that I would put on a Ben Simmons or a LeBron or something to slow them down. And he was fantastic. This card couldn't be posted up. So he does not have any post-up badges helping him out. So let's see what that strength rating is real quick. Now, we can't tell from this screen. So he only has a 75 strength. So I think, I don't know, I think it might just be the Intimidator. Michael Ray Richardson might even be better than Walt defending on the interior. So if he is better than Walt on the interior because of the strength rating, I mean, that's your answer for the role that this card plays. Because Walt was pretty fantastic at defense, and Michael Ray Richardson promises to be pretty fantastic at defense, and he's so cheap that I would go as far as to say you can just take a chance on the card and see how he plays, particularly if either A, you don't have the Ben Simmons card. I focus on Ben because LeBron is still really expensive. I believe he's still going for like 300K or something. You either don't have or don't like the Ben Simmons card because you don't want a card that can't really shoot, right? And none of the Ben Simmons cards shoots particularly well. So let's look at the animations that he's dealing with. So he does have a decent mid-range shot, so the leaner matters. He has the nice straight up and down leaner, so you should be able to hit that very regularly. And he also has the hot zones to facilitate that leaner. Yeah, big green window on that one. You take that shot in his hot zones, and this card can really be creative. All right, so that's some good stuff for this card. So let's look at the rest of his badges. Sorry, I'm a little disorganized, but this is a unique card for what I normally review because this is not a go-get-you-buckets card. This is a role-playing defensive card, but with everybody with Giannis and LeBron and Ben Simmons and Magic Johnson, he might be what a lot of people need to really round out their lineup. So what we're looking for now is the finishing badges. Does he have Teardropper? He does. He has Hall of Fame Teardropper. So what I look for, and he also has Giant Slayer and everything else. Okay, so what I look for with that Hall of Fame Teardropper is when he comes off the pick and roll, what a lot of people will do is they'll chase you off the three-point line and they'll pack the paint. And that opens the mid-range up a lot. And that's when this teardropper animation becomes much more important. So many people underrate this, but I'm telling you guys, whether it's Pro-Am, Park, my team, you know, Triple Threat, whatever, I use that teardropper a lot to like really good effect. I don't know why the community thinks it's totally worthless. I can understand not saying it's the most important thing in the world, but that right there, that's a bucket you can get all the time with this card. And the same thing was true of Clyde. Clyde could hit this teardropper literally every time. I believe he also has it on Hall of Fame. With the very high mid-range and shot close ratings with the Hall of Fame teardropper, this can be a go-to game for this card coming off the pick and roll to get you buckets when people are packing the paint on you. So yeah, so I think that's all very good. So far things are looking up for Michael Ray. So he has excellent athletic stats across the board. We saw the 85 dunk. So now we're going to look at the dribbling animations. And here's where my concerns are with this card. So he has an excellent behind the back, which is extremely important. Because when you don't have the best dribbling animations across the board, that behind the back can literally save you, right? So he does have that great behind the back. Let's look at his running crossover. Okay, he has that weird crossover where it's kind of in the same spot. Let's see if that helps us double cross. Oh, he didn't even want to do a double cross. That was weird. Let's try that again, Michael. Yeah, his double cross keeps him almost exactly in a straight line, so I would advise against using that. Let's look at his hezi branches. Very nice hesitation crossover. So if you guys aren't familiar with my videos, this move is not the hesitation crossover with the right stick. That's that, which is also very good for him. What's not a good crossover raw is a really good crossover with the hesitation branch. But this is the other crossover. Again, a very underutilized move. So you activate the hesitation, you hold turbo again, and then you cross over with the left stick. Very, very, very strong dribble move in all game modes. But in my team, it's great when you're running full court and you just need to create an angle to keep the full court advantage, right? So we saw the between the legs. His between the legs has a massive startup, so I wouldn't recommend his between the legs. Big startup, big startup. There's like, I'm not going to try and count the frames. Well, let me see. Like, it feels like there are a good, man. Yeah, there are several frames of startup on that I definitely wouldn't recommend because he slows down during the startup frames as well. All right, let's look at his hesitation explosion. It's okay, not a big burst. Okay, he gets a little burst of speed. There it is. He didn't get a big speed boost the first time. Let's try that again real quick. Yeah, he gets a nice speed boost out of that. It's a shame he doesn't have a better crossover. So we're going to try a little combo here. Hesitation, speed boost, behind the back. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice for him. So in the full court, definitely solid. With his speed and his size and his dunk ratings, he should be very good in the full court. All right, let's look at some of his other dribbles. So first we're going to look at his hesi. Very important. So he doesn't have the strongest hesi in the world. He can't cancel into dribbles out of this, which is obviously a big negative. But the one thing I will say is he does explode out of it reasonably fast. And let's see his left trigger hesi. Okay, and you see he has a pretty bad step back there. Big delay on that step back. You see the cursed dots. Those dots show up before his animation begins, which means you can get stripped doing that step back, which means I would advise against it unless you already have space and you're literally just trying to create even more space than you already have. But without range extender, that's not a viable game plan. So let's see what his hesi into his jumper looks like. So that's pretty smooth. That is definitely something you can do. Obviously the negative being that you don't have the range extender to lean on, but he has such a clean release that that is a viable game plan for the pick and roll. So this card should still be able to operate in the pick and roll. Okay, and I'm checking to see if he has a change direction on the perimeter. He does not. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you can look at my John Wall video, I believe I show it, where basically you can stop on a dime and change directions with the card by activating a certain hesi. He can't do that either. So let's look at his momentum crossover. Okay, excellent momentum crossover. So I'm going to give you a couple of double crosses so that we can see how that looks when you're really trying to shake people up. You see that right there? That reminds me of Michael Jordan. A few of the cards have that, where the momentum crossover is actually a viable move all on its own. So this one I actually highly recommend. That's a really, really good move. And with that behind the back, it gives Michael a little bit more wiggles in the half court. Yeah, so he can definitely move a little bit off of that. So that's great. All right, let's check his behind the back. So he has a noticeable delay on his behind the back. I apologize for my cat screaming in the background. She's trying to terrorize me into feeding her early, and it's not going to happen. He has a noticeable delay on his behind the back, so I don't think he can really use that move the way a lot of other cards can use it. He's more of a 1-2 kind of straight line guy. You can play him off the pick and roll. You can shoot those floaters after you get off the pick and roll. He's generally fast. He's got good size. He can pull up with the leaners. So he's a good mid-range card, not a phenomenal three-point card outside of the catch and shoot. He just doesn't have the suite of dribble moves to open himself up on the perimeter, even working in the pick and roll, because his behind the back is relatively slow. Let's check his between the legs. His between the legs super slow as well. Can't really go to that either. Yeah, he doesn't really have a combo out of that the way a lot of other cards can. So yeah, you're really limited on the perimeter to momentum dribbles. Let me see, left trigger, stop and goes, which are pretty slow, not a great move. Left trigger, change of direction. Again, not super great with him. I would say that's kind of it for him because his step back's a no-go. His behind the back is definitely slower than most. His Sham God's not going to work because he doesn't have the between the legs dribble to complement that stuff. So you're really just looking to explode with him or work the pick and roll to shoot in the mid-range or get a dunk. Speaking of dunk, we're going to look at his dunk and layup packages real quick. So let's do dunks first. Strong hand dunks. Very nice. That should be a good in-game dunk. I would imagine he's a good in-game dunker. We're going to go to the off-ball hand. He's got a massive gather on that off-ball hand. This was a big plus for John Wall. Is John Wall dunked with both hands with equal skill. He got a nice speed boost there. But this guy has some gathers when he goes to his off-ball hand. There it goes again. See that big gather? So that's definitely a people catch up to you animation. Let's see how he looks forward on the stick with the strong ball hand. A slight gather, but he gets a little forward momentum off it, so it's pretty good. And we're going to check his fancy. Strong ball hand. Very nice fancy dunk. It's got the Westbrook kind of cockback thing. Alright, so we're going to check the weak hand. Ball hand. Yeah, you see, he doesn't get as high. He has that gather. This is what I was talking about. This is actually something I learned doing the My Team breakdowns for you guys. I actually didn't know that some cards would be extremely weak dunking with their weak hand. And that has just proven to be true across the board. Some cards are one-handed dunkers, where if you dunk to their strong hand, they'll dunk really fast and give you a great speed boost. But if you dunk with their, as you see there, you see that dunk is 10 times better than anything going the other way. But if they dunk with their weak hand, or if they change hands, they'll be way worse. So you see with the change hand, he goes to a two-footed gather there. So I would say with Michael Ray Richardson, if at all possible, when you're going up, to get the ball into that strong hand first, and you'll see a lot better dunk packages. So we'll see here, get into a strong hand, and we should get a good dunk package. Alright? No slowdown, no major gather or anything like that. I took off kind of close to the basket, so it wasn't the best. Let's try it again. Boom. And we see he goes really high on that dunk. You see that big nice dunk package. Okay, let's see his hop dunks. That's solid. Better hop dunk than John Wall. Let's try another one. Oh yeah. So this is a PG with legitimate hop dunks at 6'5", which is really nice. That's really nice. That's going to be nice in triple threat offline too. If you're in the market for taking a non-range extended point guard in the triple threat online for some reason, this guy can do most things for you going to the basket. It's pretty good. And he hop dunks every time, which is fantastic. So we're going to check his reverse dunks and his layup packages, and then I'm going to glance at the chat, and we're going to get out of here. Okay, he didn't reverse dunk, which is really interesting. Let's check out with the right hand. Oh yeah, so he doesn't like to reverse dunk. That's very strange for a guy with the big dunk rating. So he reverse layups, no reverse dunks there. Alright, so let's look at that layup package. Weak hand, terrible animation going to the weak hand. Let's try that again. See if we can get a better animation than that. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that was an anomaly. I'm going to try it again. See if we get that animation. Oh, okay, yeah, that was an anomaly. Maybe I accidentally triggered a cradle. Let's check the cradle with the weak hand, see if he does that. Nope, that was his cradle with the weak hand. Not terrible, but, you know, like all cradles, use it in the appropriate situation. Don't just throw it out there. Be very mindful that you don't get it by accident when you're trying to, you know, get a lead on somebody. He had a nice explosion out of that behind the back there. It's a built-in hezzy. That's his Euro step dunk. I mean, his Euro step layup. I apologize. So yeah, so that wraps up Michael Ray Richardson. We're going to check the chat real quick and see what you guys are talking about. But yeah, that's pretty much it for him. Okay, so we're going to check the chat real quick. My team game, okay. Books, still doing the buy silvers and selling them for 1,200 MT method. I haven't been trying to gain MT. I've been working all day. So I haven't been trying to do anything. I have to re-examine the market and see, you know, what's going on with that. Render says, what drives me nuts is rim hanging, taunting built into some dunk animations. Yeah, I do think they just need to allow you to break out of those. You need to be able to break out of those animations. You know, and either get off the rim or get out of the taunts and that kind of thing. But yeah, so this Michael Ray Richardson, I would say he's a solid card that some people are going to like a lot because of how good he is defensively. Some people are going to absolutely say they have no time for because he has no range extender. But I tell you what, if you play this card, I don't think he has as much of a go-to game as other cards, but his momentum is good enough that if you're good at momentum dribbling, you can definitely boogie on people a little bit with the momentum. And he's so strong in the mid-range. He has so many good mid-range animations between his floaters, his leaners, and his ratings in those areas, the hot zones in those areas. This is not a card that is your go-to offensive card, but in a pinch, he does have an offense that you can rely on. He's got the hop dunks. He should be a fairly strong slasher. He's got a nice size to him. Yeah, great mid-range game across the board. The hesitation is there. Not the hesitation, I'm sorry. The momentum dribble is there. And even though his behind the back kind of sucks, it is still a behind the back technically. So, you know. And it combos well out of his momentum. It just unfortunately doesn't give him a burst of speed the way other cards do. Wally Warriors asks, can he guard Giannis? I think you have to play the game and try a whole bunch of different things when you're guarding Giannis to see how well a card guards Giannis. Because he might be bad at this kind of defense against Giannis, but he might be good at this other defense against Giannis. Now, Giannis is a fantastic card, so I don't expect him to get stopped completely. But you're just looking to slow him down so that people can't just cheese you for free. I can't answer that question without playing Giannis a bunch of times against a bunch of different players. Because there are some people that don't know how to use Giannis. They just try to, you know, hop step, and once that doesn't work, they don't have anything else they go to. And I have a video that I'm still probably going to put out at some point where I'm doing, you know, between the legs step backs with Giannis on the three-point line. Most people don't play like that. You know what I mean? So, and this is not with the new Giannis. That's with Spotlight Giannis. So it depends entirely. But I will say this. He's in the running of top cards that should give it a shot. He should be pretty good against LeBron. And he should be one of the better defensive role-playing cards in the game. I would say he might be somewhat of a modern, you know, current meta upgrade to Clyde Drexler. He's taller than Clyde. He has the same badges in the same areas. He has a higher strength rating by 10 points, which is pretty significant. Great dunk package across the board. Clyde also has a pretty trash step back. His step back is probably even worse than Michael Ray's. So I would say if you have Clyde, you might want to pick up this Michael Ray, play with him, and see about selling Clyde, because Clyde goes for a lot more than Michael was going for last I checked. All right, so I'm going to shut this down. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be back here with a Big Z deep dive.